Let's get down right to it, shall we? I've got a story for you. A story about my family. My familia. Yes. But more particularly, my older brother. Oh yeah, it's gonna be one of those stories. This story takes place back when me and my brother were still younger, childhood. We were campers when we were kids. Boy Scouts, to be more exact. I was a Boy Scout, he was a Boy Scout, even our father was a Boy Scout. In fact, he was actually an Eagle Scout, which is like the top what you can be as a Boy Scout. Do you remember those great times enjoying nature and all of its majesty? All those times where the campers would cook our food and the person who was actually cooking it is someone who lost a very intense game of rock, paper, scissors. And the occasional word of wisdom from our Scoutmasters. I still remember one of the words of wisdom they gave us. One of those words was about how there's three kind of people in the world. One, is dumb people. Stupid people. They do not learn from their mistakes. And then, number two, smart people. They learn from their mistakes. And then there's wise people. They learn from other people's mistakes. That's what this video is about. This is a story for all those who want to add to their list of don't do that. So back in those days of camping, the campers were in charge of making their own food, and the adults would make their own food. The adults would have stuff like steak, hamburger, hot dogs, whatever, right? Well, the campers, we had to get inventive because we were not as well endowed with money to get steak and hamburger. So we would get things like hobo beans and hobo baked potatoes and hobo hot dogs and hamburgers. Yes, which is basically where you put like the food into tinfoil and tossed into a fire and hope it doesn't, catch on fire. Not often. It would usually catch on fire. Yeah. We would also make hobo omelets. And this is basically where you take eggs, put them into a bag, obviously without the shell, and put anything else you can imagine that goes into an omelet, like beef, veggies, whatever, into the bag, mush it all up, and then put it into boiling water, thus ensuring you're probably going to get cancer from the plastic that you put into boiling water. But if the campers failed in making the food, we did have a backup plan. Inside our box of camping supplies and such, we had an old loaf of bread that was rock solid that we would make with PB&J. PB&J rock hard sandwiches. They're basically crackers. Yep. And then you would spend the next day on the pot thinking about failed decisions in life. Yeah. But on this particular camp out that my brother went on, he was in charge of making lasagna. I don't know whose decision it was to make lasagna. That seems like a very poor camping meal to make. The way he would make this lasagna was by putting the lasagna into a aluminum tray thingy that would go inside another aluminum tray filled with hot water that was over burners, which would then cook the lasagna at an even temperature, apparently. The only problem with cooking food in this manner is that it takes a long time and patience. And my brother was very impatient. So he, thinking to speed up the process, would dial the heat up to max, thinking that would make it cook faster. Well, once the time came for my brother to remove the lasagna from the hot water, he should have used the heat-resistant gloves, which were over in the adults' camping area. But because they were way over there, he decided, nah, I'm just going to use some dish rags. Those little thin dish rags that have no heat protection at all. Here comes a lesson for the wise people. He then tried to lift the lasagna out of the boiling water with the dish rags, thus burning his hands to where he's now hurrying with the lasagna to get it out of the water. But in this process, tips the hot water onto his shoes. Now, I was not at this particular camp out because I was in a different age group than my brother. So I was about 50 miles away at home when this whole thing went down. But I knew the exact moment it all happened because I could hear a word filled with so much wisdom, so much knowledge to trumpet all past education I had once occurred to have. And that word was... I would like to add that our dad was actually at this campout because he was one of the adult counselors. And he actually had a special job to do at this particular campout. He was going around taking video and pictures of different camp activities and events going on. That way he could make a video afterwards with, music and everything to show to the families and to all the campers afterwards. That way we could reminisce with all the fun excitement that I had had, and also to laugh at people doing stupid stuff to each other and laugh at them. I think now, looking back at it, it was probably like a disincentive to make you not do stupid things. Stupid things like, I don't know, pushing the porta potty over while there's somebody still inside of it. But anyway, at this time, my dad and another camp counselor was passing by and saw the whole lasagna thing go down. And our dad just leapt into action and started taking as many pictures as he possibly could as fast as he can. The other camp counselor just does the first thing that comes to mind, and he just tackles my brother, takes him to the ground, and then proceeds to kick on him and step on his legs to put out the fire, I guess. I don't know why. It was water. It wasn't fire. And then after he realized, oh, hey, this is water, he then drags my brother to a body of water nearby and then tosses him in like a bunch of dirty laundry to a washing machine, thus ending the situation. I tried finding those pictures. I really did. If you liked it, please like and subscribe down below.